Welcome back, ladies and gents. Today, we've got an article on Rivian. The Rivian SUV, the R1S, spotted in Germany. European expansion plan for 2026, ladies and gents. The California-based EV manufacturer Rivian has recently unveiled three new models, including the R2, the mid-size electric SUV that is expected to mark the company's arrival in Europe in 2026. Granted, we're still at least 2 years or 3 years away from that happening. But I promise you, it's going to feel like 3 months. It's not going to feel like 3 years at all, especially if you're around my age, getting close to your 30s. Time is just slipping by. 3 years doesn't feel like 3 years anymore, does it? It really doesn't. So it's going to go by pretty quickly. So pretty soon we're going to get Rivian vehicles all around European countries. And that's going to be awesome because a lot of us are interested in the R2, a lot of us are interested in the R3 and R3S. So that's going to be very interesting. So this is Rivian's first production model, the R1S. It was seen lately in south of Germany with a German license plate as the company continues to prepare for its market expansion to Europe in 2026. This is wonderful to see actually. And there you have it, the German license plate with the European Union symbol and then the D standing for Deutschland. In case you didn't know that Germany's real name is Deutschland. It's actually a really nice name. So going further into this article, says early in March, the manufacturer confirmed to Autocars that the R2 will be available in the UK, but an exact timeline for its arrival has not been announced yet. The model is expected to start around 45,000 US dollars, and the R3 will priced below the R2, marking Rivian's new lowest cost vehicle. Now this is actually quite amazing because with the R3 we can expect it to be priced anywhere from 35,000 to 40,000. I would be surprised if the starting price is above 40,000. I would be a little bit surprised, but I wouldn't be too surprised. You know, it's a business at the end of the day. It's got to make revenue. Now, the new R2 series of electric vehicles from Rivian are smaller, cheaper than its current models, and that's an understatement of the year. These vehicles are significantly cheaper in the world of electric vehicles because currently the R1S and R1T, they're like 70 grand cars, 80 grand car, 90 grand cars, depending on the trim you go for, and for that's not affordable for the average person. In fact, a $45,000 car, the R2, is still not affordable for the average person. You know, it's what's more affordable is around a 30 grand price. That's more affordable. So that's why I think the R3 will be particularly favored around the world if they can price it correctly, if they can build it at a low cost and build it at high volumes. I think this car will excel. I think it will do brilliantly. Not to mention they have two R3s. They have the R3 and R3X. And the R3X I believe will be a little bit more expensive because it's more performance, you know, it's more sporty, it's more off-roading. You know, that's the one I would like to go for because it's an adventurous vehicle. I could literally put a tent on top and have a cinema in said tent. So speaking on these vehicles being smaller and cheaper than its current models, it's also making it a better fit for European roads compared to the R1 series. The R1S and R1Ts are huge vehicles, and you know they're really they're American vehicles, so they're built for American roads. While if you've ever been in the UK, you've been to places like Bath, you know those vehicles are going to just be a nightmare to use in places like that. But somehow the Land Rover Defender works perfectly fine on these roads. So if people can survive using a Land Rover Defender, the new Land Rover Defenders, those huge, gigantic things, yeah, I love those things, by the way. I really want one. Probably a 120, probably a 120 or 110. Really awesome stuff. But let's stay on topic. They are big vehicles, but I think Rivian still wants to consider the fact that Europeans have really liked smaller vehicles. It's only recently that Europeans are actually going for slightly larger vehicles. And not at a crazy rate. What Europeans are actually really going for is more SUVs. That's what the entire world is going towards. It's more SUVs, which is why electric vehicle companies are so highly focused on electric vehicles that are SUVs. Even Polestar to a certain extent. You know, the Polestar 4 Coupe SUV, it's got the identity. It's got the identity of a sedan, like the body. It looks like a sedan, but because it's high off the ground, but because it's higher off the ground, and it's got the space of a small SUV, then technically it's an SUV. And because Polestar is a European company, even more emphasis on building more electric SUVs. The world is becoming more obsessed with SUVs, but it makes sense. They tend to have more range, and if they're electric vehicles, they tend to be just as fast, even faster than the typical gasoline, petrol engine vehicle that of the same size, way faster. Not to mention space in the front, space in the back, because there's no engine in the front, you get the frunk instead. So, electric vehicles are starting to make a lot of sense for a lot of people, especially if they're SUVs. I probably said SUVs too many times by now, but seriously. Let's continue with this article. Is saying that the Rivian factory is currently temporarily closed until the end of April for the implementation of new technologies and production models aimed at substantial cost reduction. I did hear about this. And it was supposed to be closed for like a couple of weeks or something. These are factories. It takes a lot longer to reconfigure the necessities. And I think this is genius by Rivian. While it is going to slow production, I think it's completely genius because they're investing in their future. And if they can lower the cost to build these vehicles, that's one great thing to accomplish. If they can also lower the prices they're being sold, that's also another bonus for them as well because they can sell more. So long term, something like this will really benefit Rivian substantially. So I completely like what Rivian is doing. This is why I really like Rivian. I really like how the company is run. Seriously. Its operation, the management, it's really professional and it's really forward thinking. They're not afraid to be a forward thinking company. And you can clearly see that looking at the Rivian truck, the Rivian SUV. But even more so, the Rivian truck, the R1T, that thing is a utility machine. It's got everything. It's got a kitchen. If you want a kitchen, you can have a temporary kitchen. That's incredible. And it's such a simple thing, but it's going to make the brand what it is. It's going to make the brand what it is to be Rivian. Now, the company's recent update to its NHTSA VIN database reveals preparation for introduction of the tri-motor variant. We spoke about this a few months ago, actually. Really great thing that Rivian is adding to its list of options for customers. And a new premium trim levels for the 2025 version of its Model S, and a new premium trim level for the 2025 version of the Rivian R1S and R1T. This expansion of the option accompanies the upcoming releases of the 2025 R1S and R1T later this year. Late Tuesday, the company reported 13,980 vehicles produced in the first quarter of the year, with 13,588 were delivered to its customers, despite having previously guided a 10 to 15% quarter-over-quarter drop from the fourth quarter. Rivian is on track to reaffirm its 2024 production guidance of 57,000 vehicles delivered. I don't think this was ever in question that Rivian was not going to hit this target. I think if anything, they might end up doing a little bit better than 57,000 vehicles delivered. I think they could easily do 60 or 65,000 vehicles delivered. And I think they probably are intending to do just that. Because there's nothing like under-promising and over-delivering, especially if you're in the space of electric vehicles and technology business. I don't know if you've ever worked for clients, but I've worked for clients, and there's nothing better than under-promising and over-delivering. You promise them one mock-up or two mock-ups, and then you deliver 3 or 4. Then they're super happy. It's like, wow. And if you already show them 1 or 2 mock-ups and they're super happy with it, there's 2 other mock-ups that you don't have to show them. You can keep for something else. Options, ladies and gents. Rivian is leaving itself open to options and leaving itself open to have a great end of the year. And I believe this is all planned, and this is a good plan. Next year is 2025. The year after that is 2026. Big times for Rivian. What are they expecting to accomplish next year? That's my real question. 70,000, 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 vehicles delivered? At this moment, I would not be surprised if Rivian delivered 100,000 vehicles next year in 2025. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be super happy. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you in our next video. Peace.